July's White Dwarf is here. Oh my goodness. So this one, wow, this one was interesting. Now, while it isn't as chocked full of new releases that we haven't seen or even heard of quite yet, there is still a lot of good actual hobby content. You know, the stuff that we that we actually do besides trying to figure out what the next big thing is. Oh my gosh, what is it I gotta get now? This isn't a good issue for that, of course. You know, Games Workshop always does this thing where they put out, you know, some of the stuff in here, and we saw last month for the first time that they do this thing where they're like, oh, this is coming out, but they don't give you an exact date because they, you know, maybe they don't know, maybe they don't want other folks to know, and then towards the middle of the month they put out big releases for everything else that's coming out towards the end of the month. So we may still see Kill Team. That was the big rumor. We heard it. I can pretty much, you know, confirm a couple of sources told me that are in the know. Whether it sorts out, well, hey, I don't know, because I'm not them. But that being said, supposedly that is happening, and we've already seen Kill Team previews a couple days ago from Games Workshop with a whole slew of new releases, including the expansions that were rumored from the same source. So chances are we are seeing Kill Team towards the end of the month, and then we got Titanicus next month on the 40K side of things. Very exciting times regardless. Age of Sigmar is obviously heating up as well. Like I said, this issue's got a lot in it. Got a heavy metal showcase in here. Got Duncan's Knights. Big battle report on that, completely written out, all old school and everything. A little paint kind of hobby thing, like, hey, how to paint your stuff quicker for the tabletop to get the stuff on the table and playing, something that we've been preaching here on the channel, and of course next level painting for years and years and years. You know, just get it to that level and then come back, hit it up, finish it up, you know, at least get it playable where you get it on the tabletop and start getting games in with it, because it's just more fun that way. And then of course all the new releases for the Night Haunts and a few for the Stormcast as well. And we know that the majority of, well, not majority, I would say roughly a third of the new releases for both seem to be those easy to build kits, which is interesting to see that they're getting worked into mainstream releases. So lots and lots of cool stuff in here to check out. Now we're only going to hit the highlights here, so obviously there are the new releases. So hey, new releases are coming. Of course, we do that. There is the new endless spells, specific ones. We got the new War Scroll cards, which I personally dig. I mean, if you've been watching this channel for the past 3 years, as soon as they started putting out those game aids, I was like, guys, this is not working. Redo it. Make the format better. This is just not working. And they did. And I can't say enough good things about it. I'm loving it. I literally like, when can I get my Beast Claw Raiders? Give me Beast Claw Raiders. I will buy them all. Of course, I would love to buy some Chaos Dwarfs and some Baroness and some Iron Jaws too. I also have a problem when it comes to armies, but that's besides the fact. New releases, we've seen all these evocators, and the Lord Exorcist actually is out this week, so that's going to be on a separate video. You can check that one out. Easy to build Celestial Ballista coming in hot. So this is a easy to build kit similar to what we saw. Actually, I think it might be the same. You know, I'm going to pause the video and go look, because I should have done that. Of course I didn't, but I want to see if it's the same one that comes in Soul Wars. So it turns out it is not the same as the one that comes in the Soul Wars box. Actually, the Evocators, nothing in here is the same that comes in the Soul Wars box. So completely different ETB kit. And I don't know what these terrain pieces or features are here on the base either. But those are also not on the kit. So it looks like it's very similar to what they're doing with the built-in bases, kind of like with Shadespire and stuff. And then this is what I was talking about too. They're like out this month. So you don't know exactly when it's coming out, and just that it's coming out at some point. So they leave a little bit of suspense there. And then the Night Haunt releases with the endless spells and a little bit of designer notes too. There was one, of course, opposite on the Stormcast, which are pretty cool. So it's good to see that they've got, you know, a little bit, they're doing a little bit of forward thinking there. Now, if you haven't seen on Warhammer Community under the FAQ section, there is a spot for both errata and designer commentary, which is kind of cool and a new thing. I don't know if they're going to bring that to Warhammer 40K, but if they do, it'll definitely be a refreshing change, hopefully, to 8th edition. Then we got the Underworlds releases to the Leader card pack, also the sleeves, and the Shattered City board, which we found that has new spaces in here that things can do, and you can, you know, take damage and such on the latest preview. And then more Blood Bowl coming in with their quarterly release, which always seems to be opposite of the Necromunda stuff. So it's like Necromunda, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, Blood Bowl kind of type deal, which is cool. I like how they're tic-tacking it. No big Forge World releases on the horizon. That's kind of weird to see. We saw Alfarius and stuff. We haven't really seen anything big lately. Traditionally, they would put out a supplement towards the end of July. Now, we know that Forge World Open is the 15th. I want to say the 15th of July. So coming up in a couple of Sundays, which I'm sure we'll see more stuff. But as of right now, we don't really know too much. Licensed games, some video game stuff, some of the card games. Doomseeker, looks like Ninja Division is coming in hot. Of course, they're not going to partner with Fantasy Flight Games anymore if they both terminated their partnership agreements and gone their separate ways. Black Library books on the horizon, and the ubiquitous Write-In, little old school right there. So as far as new releases go, that is pretty much it. Then we got some designer notes and things on Spectral and how to play anime. This was nothing I really wanted to talk about. The Heavy Metal Masterclass is actually really good. I enjoyed this. There's 4 different sections, I think. Yeah, 4 different sections. Nope, just 3. On how to paint battle damage, which is actually really harder to do than it seems, because you're trying to create 3-dimensional depth on a 2D surface, right? So this is actually really good reading. So make sure you read this. It talks a lot about some of the hyper highlights and things that we always comment about on here too, but a little bit more with adding how to add depth and contrast and things, which it's spectacular. It's a spectacular read. Definitely read it. Then the battle report with Duncan and James something. I don't know how to say that, so I'm not even gonna try. One thing is mispronouncing words, but mispronouncing somebody's name is something else altogether that I'm not prepared to do. So we got House Tenaris, of course, versus Duncan's House Griffin, which looks spectacular. Very, very, very striking. Love to see that stuff there. And Duncan always does a great job with his paint work. And then you've got the new City Fight expansions and such coming in hot in the battle report. And it's really cool to see how tall these are, because those actually give knights, you know, a little bit of line of sight blocking terrain, which is always very helpful, of course, if it blocks more than 50% of the vehicle. Don't ask me why it doesn't work the reverse if you're shooting through terrain. I cannot say. So there it is, the whole battle report. What was some other stuff I wanted to show you? So there was some really good features in here. They got the Tale of 4 Warlords, talking about some new ages. Oh, this one was kind of cool. The whole like getting your stuff ready for the table, and a few like kind of ideas like, hey, look at this really small color palette, and then just kind of how it helps pop with the very basics. I thought that was pretty neat. And oh, the Tale of 4 Warlords is them basically updating their armies to Age of Sigmar 2.0, which I thought was really interesting. Very good one. And a cool Tale of 4 Warlords, how to actually play with 4 different people with a battle plan here. Now there is Triumphant Treachery rules. You remember that was a standalone box set way back in the day for 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy before it went the way of the dodo. But it's cool to see that it's in here, and they actually, it sounds like from reading the battle report that a lot of the rules are still holding true and such. Conversely, if you play with the Purple Sun in your games, let us know how it. I'm just not. I'm not really seeing it do well on the tabletop here recently in the new Blind Sorcery. I don't know. It's very underwhelming thus far. So I don't run it, but I've gone up against folks that have, and I'm just like, meh. That's it. New Blanchitsu featuring another warband from the Tor Megiddo that has been featured in here a whole lot lately. Great looking army. They can't say enough good things about the folks that really kind of carry the torch forward on this whole style of Blanchitsu. And they even said, you know, some of the Night Haunt stuff was designed off of some of the Blanchitsu sketches and all those things. So it's just really cool to see everything like that really coming full circle, you know what I mean? Then some new rules for Warhammer Quest, nothing too big in there. The paint splatter was featuring the Night Haunts, which was really cool to kind of see how to use some of those new paints. The Night Haunt Gloom and the Hexray Flame. Now, we used some of them here on the channel already last week when we went over how to use the some of the technicals and some of the accessories for Age of Sigmar, but it's really cool to see that they do kind of a different approach here, some of the new Deep King colors. And actually, I started painting up my my endless spell here, the dragonflies that give out extra life or extra wounds back to things, and I used the Hexray Flame, believe it or not, over a white coat. And I'm finding more and more that Games Workshop's technical paints work better over a glossy undercoat. So I grabbed some Model Masters Tester Model Master gloss spray, and I hosed it all down, and then I just basically straight out of the pot, just using a chisel brush, wipe all of that Hexray Flame, and I used the Night Haunt color or whatever, Night Haunt Gloom down here. And as you can see, this is just over a white undercoat, sprayed, dried, of course, hit it with gloss coat, which seals in all the rough areas, the rough bumpings and everything like that, and then just one coat of Hexray Flame and the Night Haunt Gloom at the bottom there, and it just spread out amazingly, like super easy, like no work involved. But now I'm going back and detailing it out, doing the thoraxes of the dragonflies right here, and kind of making it look like they fade up, and I added a little bit of blue to the wings too, to kind of feather them out a little bit and give them that extra color. But now when I look at this, I was like, hey, this is cool, because now they give you, and I mean, I was gonna work in some grades anyways, I kind of knew, but they give you specifics here, which I thought was really neat, and I'll definitely report back on that, hopefully, as we get our stuff painted up for the first big major Age of Sigmar tournament here in the States, coming up in 2 weeks. So we're getting all our Beast Claw Raiders done up for that. We got the cogs and everything all done up as well, and some nice scale 75 metals. I really like the scale metals. And Army Painter metals are very much shinier. These are more matte, but for the matte look to match my Beast Claw Raiders, I definitely chose those. Don't really like G-Dub's metals. I don't know why. Just not feeling them. Really haven't had good experiences with them. So great little tidbits in here if you're looking to paint out some Night Haunts on the fly when picking up the Soul Wars box. Oh, and then they had the showcase in here, which again, lacking in basic normal Space Marines. All Primaris all the time. Do not send them pictures of regular Marines, because they literally haven't been in this showcase in the back of the book for like a whole year. And if you were wondering, if you haven't watched the video already on the new Night Haunt releases, well, she's not quite as big as people expected, if you know what I mean right there, unfortunately, but it's a $45 kit, so I guess you get what you get there. So that's it. That is our first look and review on the new White Dwarf for July 2018. Definitely worth your hobby dollars this July 4th weekend. That I think you can't go wrong picking this one up. It's got a lot of actual content in it, not a whole lot of flashing on the new release side of things, but hey, what do we value more? Me personally, I like the hobby more, so I can't speak to new release. That's sort of my sort of thing there. But that's it for this one, folks. Thanks for watching. If you like these kind of videos here on the channel, make sure you click on the link below to check out the rest of our White Dwarf reviews from the last 8 years or so, give or take, and work out your hobby muscles. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.